The story opens with a glimpse of Maurice Bendrix, a novelist who sits alone, sipping a drink while typing away on his typewriter. He's writing in his personal diary, and the very first line he types sets the tone. This is the diary of a... What follows is not just a collection of memories. It's a raw, unfiltered account of all the painful moments and disappointments that have shaped his life. Maurice reveals that he would never have started this diary if, on that particular night, the devil hadn't stopped him. But the devil he refers to isn't some mythical figure. It's actually his close friend, Henry. From here, the narrative shifts into the past, taking us back to the year 1946. Maurice is seen walking through the rainy streets of London, holding an umbrella. Suddenly, he notices a man rushing through the downpour. It's Henry. Maurice calls out to him and asks where he's headed in such heavy rain. He jokingly wonders if Henry is trying to drown himself. Henry responds that he's just out for some fresh air. Maurice then inquires about Henry's wife, Elena. Henry replies that she's gone out for a walk. But this strikes Maurice as odd. Who goes for a walk in such relentless rain? It becomes clear that Elena has lied to her husband, and Henry seems visibly troubled. Maurice picks up on this and offers to walk Henry home. As they walk, we hear Maurice's voice narrating the diary once again. He reflects that if he hadn't run into Henry that night, he might never have started writing this diary. He admits that he's writing it out of hatred, but he's not even sure what exactly he hates. Is it Henry? Is it Elena? Or is it someone else entirely? Someone he's never truly understood? 2 years earlier, Henry and Elena lived next door to Maurice. During that time, Maurice and Elena were involved in a passionate affair. But eventually, Elena chose to end it on her own. That decision left Maurice heartbroken and furious. Since then, he's carried a deep resentment, not just toward Elena, but toward Henry as well. Maurice and Henry arrive at Henry's home, and as soon as they step inside, Henry begins calling out for his wife. But the house remains silent. Elena isn't there. Disheartened, Henry mutters that she must have gone out for a walk. Yet deep down, he knows something doesn't add up. No one chooses to go for a walk in such heavy rain. Maurice, observing Henry closely, understands the thoughts racing through his friend's mind. What Henry doesn't realize, however, is that 2 years ago, his wife Elena and Maurice, his very own friend sitting right in front of him, were involved in a secret affair. Feeling overwhelmed, Henry begins to open up. He confesses that he suspects Elena is being unfaithful. She often leaves the house without explanation and returns late at night. The uncertainty is eating away at him. In a moment of vulnerability, Henry reveals that he's been considering hiring a private detective to follow Elena and uncover the truth. He even shows Maurice a detective's business card he's been holding on to, but admits he hasn't had the courage to make the call. Henry then makes an unusual request. He asks Maurice to pose as Elena's former lover and meet with the detective on his behalf. Maurice hesitates. It's not something he wants to do, but the pain of the breakup still lingers in his heart. 2 years ago, Elena ended their relationship, and Maurice has never truly let go of the hurt. His feelings toward her are tangled in resentment and jealousy. And so, despite his reluctance, he agrees to help Henry with the plan. Maurice meets with the detective, and within a few days, he uncovers a troubling truth. Elena has been using the excuse of visiting the dentist to secretly meet another man. One day, Maurice receives a call from Elena, inviting him to meet her at a restaurant. When they meet, Maurice speaks to her with coldness and harshness. His words cut deep, and Elena, visibly hurt, quietly leaves the restaurant. Later, Maurice reconnects with the detective, who shares something unexpected. After their meeting, Elena went to a church and spent a long time crying. The detective also shows Maurice a photograph of Elena with a man she frequently meets. Seeing this image stirs up a storm of jealousy within Maurice. Soon after, Elena hosts a party at her home. Maurice's detective manages to attend and, slipping into Elena's private room, secretly takes her personal diary. He hands it over to Maurice. Inside, Elena has poured out every hidden truth of her life. As Maurice reads through the pages, the reality begins to unfold. Elena never betrayed him. He recalls the night they broke up, the moment she told him she would leave his life forever. That night, they were together in Maurice's room, deeply connected, when suddenly the sounds of bombing filled the air. It was the time of World War II. Maurice rushes out into the corridor, and a bomb explodes near the building. The blast throws him down 2 flights of stairs, leaving him severely injured. When Elena finds him, his heartbeat has stopped. Terrified, she runs upstairs and falls to her knees, praying to God with all her heart. She begs for Maurice's life to be spared. In return, she promises to end their affair, even though she deeply loves him. Moments later, Maurice regains consciousness and walks into the room, only to find Elena still kneeling in prayer. She's relieved to see him alive, but her face carries a heavy tension. Maurice misreads her expression, believing she's unhappy that he survived. Elena then tells him that their relationship must end here. Maurice assumed she never truly loved him and wanted to end things, which is why she looks so troubled. But when he reads her diary, everything becomes clear. Elena had been praying for his life, and in her prayer, she vowed that if Maurice survived, she would walk away from their affair forever. Perhaps she made that promise because, as a married woman, loving someone else felt wrong to her. So when Maurice comes back to life, Elena is both relieved and burdened, happy he's alive, yet heartbroken knowing she must let go of the man she loves. Her conflicted expression leads Maurice to believe she's not glad he survived, when in truth, her heart is breaking for a very different reason. After their painful breakup, Elena walks away from Maurice. But now, having read her diary, Maurice finally understands the truth. He goes to meet her, and in that moment, Elena opens her heart. She confesses that she still loves him deeply and cannot imagine life without him. She explains that she keeps returning to the church, not because of guilt over an affair, but because she made a promise to God, one she no longer has the strength to keep. Her tears at the altar are born from this inner conflict. Her husband, Henry, misinterprets her behavior, assuming she's involved with someone else. But in reality, Elena hasn't been seeing anyone. Now that Maurice knows everything, their love rekindles. They decide to be together, to share their lives once more. Elena chooses to leave Henry and tells him she wants a divorce. One day, Maurice and Elena are at the beach, filled with joy and hope as they dream about their future together. But their happiness is interrupted when Henry arrives. He shares devastating news. Elena is suffering from a terminal illness, a severe lung infection, and she doesn't have much time left. Maurice is shattered. Henry, too, is heartbroken because despite everything, he still loves Elena deeply. He asks Maurice if they can both be with her during her final days. And so, the 3 of them begin living under one roof. Maurice cares for Elena during the day, while Henry stays by her side at night. But Elena's health continues to decline, and eventually, we see her funeral. She's gone, leaving both men in profound grief. The story then returns to the present. Maurice sits in Henry and Elena's home, finishing his diary. The book is complete, and the hatred he's been writing about, he realizes it wasn't directed at Elena or Henry or any other person. It was aimed at God. Maurice never believed in God before, but now he does. Not with love, but with anger. He blames God for Elena's illness, for her death, for the pain of loving her. In the final lines of his diary, Maurice writes that he wishes God would leave him alone and forget he ever existed. And that brings us to the end of this deeply emotional journey, the end of the affair. A story that isn't just about love, but about loss, longing, and the silent battles we fight within ourselves. Just like Maurice and Elena, many of us carry silent battles in our hearts. Unspoken promises, misunderstood emotions, and moments where love collides with duty. Think about those times when someone walked away, not because they stopped loving you, but because they believed it was the right thing to do. Or those moments when we prayed for someone's life, knowing that if they survived, everything would have to change. This story reminds us that love isn't always about holding on. It's sometimes about letting go with grace. Just like Elena, many people make sacrifices that others may never understand. And like Maurice, we often misread pain as rejection, when it's actually the weight of love carried in silence. So if you've ever loved deeply, lost painfully, or questioned the fairness of fate, this story is for you. It's a mirror to the soul, showing us that even in heartbreak, there's meaning. Even in endings, there's truth. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back with more stories that reflect the beauty and complexity of life. Until then, cherish your moments, honor your emotions, and remember, sometimes the most powerful love is the one that walks away but never forgets.